channel, so don't hesitate to hit that notification bell because you want to know when we dropping heat on this channel. Also, you can support the channel through Cash App and Super Chat. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and dive into the video so you can get so that's enough of me rambling. Let's rock.
Did attempt, he was not interested in that, more so or less trying to procreate yet another child, and that is not my intent nor my reason of even speaking with him. So like I said, I don't trust him. I don't know much about him. He's never tried to contact me or my son that I know of, and I just don't want him around me or my son. I don't know if he legally or not carries a pistol, but I know that he does. And like I said, I just don't trust anything like that around my child. I'm not going to.
Who makes the day-to-day decisions? Back up. Does Mr. Mouton know where you currently live?
I'm not sure.
Would you have concerns if he was to know your address and it was put into the court record?
Yes, ma'am.
What are those concerns? It's okay. You can let the judge know.
Is there any history of family violence in this case, Miss Alexander?
I'm trying to ask those questions of Miss Sherman.
Well, you're referencing an address, and I was kind of thinking that she might be confused about what it is actually trying to pry out of her.
Well, I'm asking what her concern is, why her address would be put into the court record. And she's saying
because I don't want him to pop up nowhere near my house. I don't want him to feel like it's okay to come and see my child. I don't want any kind of contact whatsoever. That's what I'm saying.
And why do you not want any contact at all with Mr. Mouton and with the child?
I just, like I said, I fear for his safety. I don't know much about him. I like I said, I tried to. That was not his interest. That's not, like I said, what he was thinking. We were not on the same level. Clearly underestimated him, age and whatsoever. But I just, as a mother, I don't trust it. No. I was, like I said, I was approached.
I'm sorry, what was that? What were you saying, Miss Seshere?
Because I didn't ask to be taking a picture with or anything. Like, I know that he has multiple other kids. So like I said, you don't even have time for this one, which is great because I don't want to be anywhere near him.
Okay. So who makes the day-to-day decisions for Jalen?
I do.
And who makes the major decisions for Jalen?
I do.
Okay. And you live in Jefferson County, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And has Dad had any visits at all with Jalen since he was born?
No.
What concerns would you have if he was to start with supervised visits?
I'm just not comfortable with that at this moment.
Child covered with health insurance?
Yes.
How is the child covered with health insurance?
I mean, right now he has Medicaid until I start my job, but right now that's what it is. He does do his regular scheduled dentist appointment, doctor's appointment. Hey, shh, I'm on the phone. Okay. Calm down.
Thank you.
Get back, Jay.
I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Are you asking for retroactive back child support or just current child support moving forward?
Yes, ma'am. Retroactive.
Retroactive. And when did you say Dad knew that you were pregnant?
6 months.
Okay, thank you, Judge. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, call your next witness.
The state will call Mr. Mouton. Mr. Mouton, can you state your full name?
Willard Clayton Mouton Jr.
Okay. 1 second. Are there any safety concerns that you have, Mr. Mouton?
No, ma'am.
None. Does Ms. Sachary know where you live?
No, ma'am.
Would you have any concerns if your address was put into the court record?
Yes, ma'am.
And what would your concerns be?
Last time I did talk to her and she was telling me about him, she still wasn't really sure if he was mine and was trying to invite me to come over to a birthday party and stuff like that. I just don't want no dealing with her and her little friend because they were saying some comments and stuff that I wasn't.
Mr. Mouton, you can't tell me what other people said. Okay, so when you make comments like they were saying, I can't hear that. You can tell me what Ms. Sachary said to you, but not somebody else, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask your question, Ms. Alexander.
Oh, thank you. What type of visits have you had with Jalen, if any?
I seen him once after he was born, and she still wasn't sure if he was mine or not. And after that, I had no more dealing with him.
And how many times has she told you that you might not be the father?
Like she said when I think when we was at her mother's house, she said it in front of her mom too. She wasn't sure if he was mine or not.
Okay. So mom makes all the decisions for the child at this time?
Yes, she does.
And mom makes all the major decisions for the child at this time?
Yes, she does.
How many other children do you have, Mr. Mouton?
4.
4 other, and they're your biological children under the age of 18?
3 are under the age of 18.
Okay, so you have 3 other children, your biological children, all under the age of 18, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you have Jalen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where do you currently work?
I work for the railroad.
And how long have you been with the railroad?
About 6, almost 7 years now.
7 years. And what is your job position with the railroad?
Labor.
Labor. And how much do you make?
I have to look at my check stubs, and they email them, and I don't really check my email.
Do you not know what you make an hour?
They started off at like 17, but I think they done upped it a little more.
So you're saying you make at least $17 an hour, and is that when you started? Just recently? You've been there 7 years.
Yes, that's when I started. Well, when I started, I was making less. But since the raise, yeah.
So you think you make a little bit more than $17 an hour? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And how many hours a week do you work?
40.
40. Do you do any overtime at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, call your next witness.
The state would call Ms. Boudreaux.
She's been called.
Ms. Boudreaux, what is your full name?
Lola Boudreaux,
Okay, and where do you work?
the Office of the Attorney General.
And what are some of your job duties with the Office of the Attorney General?
Calculate child support, review and calculate child support.
And is there some other information that you find?
I've reviewed Mr. Mouton's wages for.
And what did you find any reported income for the first quarter of 2023?
I did.
And how much was that?
First quarter of 2023 was $12,437.50.
And what did you find for the fourth quarter of 2022?
$11,671.89.
Was there another employer for that particular quarter?
There was.
And how much was that for?
$2,808.
And what income did you find as it relates to the third quarter of 2022?
Third quarter, $9,142. Second quarter, $9,431. First quarter, 2022, $7,390. I did a total of $52,880 for a period of 15 months across 2 employers, which gave me a monthly gross average of $4,406.70.
Okay. And did you happen to find?
I apologize. The gross for that is $3,525. My apologies.
Thank you very much for correcting that. Did you find any total reported income for 2021?
I did.
Do you happen to have a total amount for that?
Total, I did not calculate. There was question as to whether or not we were going to address retro, but I can give you a quarterly amount for 2021. The fourth quarter of 2021 was $8,822.50.
Mm-hmm.
Third quarter 2021, $7,311.25. Second quarter of 2021, $10,705. First quarter of 2021, $7,786.50.
All right, we need to back up because something's not making sense. Ms. Boudreaux, you testified to what the last 4 quarters were. And you said when you got done with your calculations, it was how much a month was the gross?
$35.25 for it was a 15-month period.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Alexander. You can continue.
Do you happen to have any reported income for 2021? 2020, my apologies.
I do not.
Was there anything for 2029? I'm sorry.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing after 2021 was found after the child was born.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, call your next witness.
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
Well, let me get some numbers out of the way. Mr. Mouton, you said you have 3 other dependents that are under the age of 18. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And how many of those 3 children live with you?
2.
All right. So the other child, are you court ordered to pay child support for that child?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. So you've got 2 living with you and 1 you're paying child support for.
Correct.
Do you have insurance on those 3 children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got that through the railroad?
Yes, sir.
You know how much it's going to cost you to, it's not going to cost you anything to add this child to your insurance, is it?
I don't believe so. I have to check with them and see.
Do you know how much money it costs you every month to keep your kids insured? Insurance, medical, and dental?
A little bit over, I think it's like $200 and something a month.
Okay. What about the dental?
That's for everything.
That's for everything? Okay. You said that you saw this child at some point in time in the past, Mr. Mouton, after he was born. When was that?
I say probably when he was about 1.
Okay. And you said that you had a conversation with Miss Shashir, and she said that you may not be the father at that time.
Yes, sir.
Was there somebody else in her life as far as you knew personally?
No, sir.
Did you ever take any steps, Mr. Mouton, to confirm that you were this child's father?
No, sir, I didn't. After I talked with her and her mom, no, sir.
So some of that's on you, right?
Correct.
Thank you for admitting it. That's the first start. Do you want to have contact with this child, Mr. Mouton? Do you want to be in this child's life?
Yes, sir, if that's possible, yes.
Well, it's going to be possible. I'm going to give you the right. But you understand that you've never had any contact really with this child, so it's going to have to be slow and steady at the start.
Yes, sir.
So you have 3 other children, 2 live with you and 1 does not. The child that doesn't live with you, Mr. Mouton, how old is that child?
He's 8.
What's his name?
Cameron.
And where does he live? What city?
Port Arthur.
Okay. Do you live very far from you?
Somewhat, not too far.
Do you see him? You spend time with him?
Yes, sir, I do. I get him on the weekends.
Okay. So you get to spend the weekends with him and holidays and summer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you said that you worked for the railroad for the last several years?
Yes, sir.
You ain't got a criminal background, do you?
No, sir.
I mean, it's hard to do that with the railroad because they have some specific rules they have to follow in regards to their hiring practices. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mouton. Ms. Shashir, can you hear me? You got to unmute, man. There she is. Can you hear me, Ms. Shashir?
Hello. Yes, sir.
All right. So, did you ever tell Mr. Mouton that somebody else could be the father of this child?
I did. I told him I was unsure.
Okay.
Is they out of school?
Not yet, baby.
Huh?
Not yet. You got like 2 more hours.
2 more?
Behave, Jay.
2 more, yeah.
That child's not bothering
Mama,
me,
that's
Ms.
your
Shashir.
friends?
Ms. Shashir, you hear me?
I'm sorry.
That baby's not bothering me. Don't you worry about it.
He's being nosy. He looking.
That's all right. He can be nosy. I
He
love
wants to say
kids. I
hi.
especially love nosy kids. So don't worry about
He
that.
wants to say hi. If that's okay.
He can say hi. He can bother me.
Yes, friend.
Good morning.
I bet that was your boyfriend.
Say good morning.
Ms. Shashir, I need to talk to you about Mr. Mouton's contact rights with this child. I'm going to establish that he's the father. Well, I actually have already established he's the father. And I'm going to establish conservatorship, child support, and medical support. But the laws of this state require that I give Mr. Mouton contact rights. You understand? He's the father. He's entitled to contact rights. So I'm going to order that. All right.
Yes, sir.
But it has to be some kind of limited contact
Ooh,
rights
your
at the start,
start.
because Mr. Mouton doesn't know this child and he has to learn to get to know him. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm not dealing with an infant now. This child's born in 2016. This child's, 6 or 7 years old, right?
Yes, sir. He's 7.
All right.
He's been through a lot. Like I said, my family's not perfect, and
That's okay.
he's really shy when it comes to meeting new people, and I just don't want him to be uncomfortable at all.
Well, it probably will be a little uncomfortable at the start, Ms. Shashir, but that's how it's going to work until Mr. Mouton gets to know this child. Okay? Man, that's just how it has to be for a little while. You live in Jefferson County. Is that true, Ms. Shashir?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Will it be supervised or how is that?
At first, yes, ma'am. At first, it will be. There'll be a certain number of supervised visits followed by unsupervised visits. I'll explain it to y'all after I make my ruling. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anything further from the state?
Nothing further from the state.
All right. So, Mr. Shear, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Mouton, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
Yes, there was an incident to where I was contacted a while back when I still wasn't sure if he was mine, that CPS was involved concerning him.
Did you run out and hire an attorney, Mr. Mouton, and try to get custody of this child?
No, sir, I didn't.
Then don't bring it up.
I didn't know it was mine.
Mr. Mouton, that's the problem. You know, you waited for the AG's office to file a lawsuit to establish that you're the father. And here I am about 30 seconds from starting my decision in this case. And you want to try to claim Ms. Shashir may not be a competent parent. You should have made steps on that when you had rumors that CPS may be involved in your son's life.
Can I speak, please?
That's okay, Ms. Shashir. You guys are just going to keep throwing dirt at each other. It's not going to make this any easier for the child.
No, I wasn't throwing any dirt. I was just trying to clarify that situation.
It doesn't matter. It's not relevant to my ruling.
Okay, well, great.
Yeah, it's not relevant to this. If it was relevant, somebody would have run out and filed a lawsuit to take that child away from you, huh?
Thank you. Exactly. And I've had my son.
Yep, and they didn't, so I'm not worried about it. The court's going to find the court has jurisdiction. The court's going to find, based on the testimony of the party, that is certainly not in the child's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservator. Ms. Shashir will be named as a sole managed conservator. Mr. Mouton will be a possessory conservator. Mr. Mouton will have visitation rights in this child, but based on the fact that there's been very little, if no, any contact with the child, and that's through nobody's fault, I got to get the child comfortable with the dad, and so there's going to be some phases. There's going to be 10 visits at each phase, Miss Alexander. So what that means, y'all, is it means there's going to be 10 supervised visits. That'll be 1 to 5 on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of each month, beginning June the 1st of 2023. When those 10 supervised visits are finished, then Mr. Mouton will begin unsupervised visits for the same time and the same days of the week. So that'll be 10 unsupervised visits for 4 hours on the 1st and 3rd and 5th Saturday of each month. When those 10 visits are done, then Mr. Mouton will have 10 visits unsupervised for the day, when he will pick the child up at 8 o'clock in the morning on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of the month to keep the child till about 5 o'clock that night. When those 10 visits are done, then Mr. Mouton will begin his overnight visits, where he will have one night of overnight beginning at 6 p.m. on Saturday and ending at 6 p.m. on Sunday, also beginning the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of each month. Once that last phase is completed, then Mr. Mouton will have visitation as per the standard possession order. So that's every 1st, 3rd, and 5th weekend of the month, every other major holiday, and every summer, and 30 days in the summer. Okay? Now, in regards to child support and medical support, this is my ruling. I'm going to order that Mr. Mouton will be ordered to maintain the health insurance on this child through his employer. He's going to pay child support as per his information and from Ms. Boudreaux's information based on what he earns. Believe it or not, he actually does make about what he said. It really wasn't that much difference, which I was surprised because he'd been working for this company for a while. But I'm going to find that child support in this case, given 3 other dependents, is $440 per month. $440 per month. That's what the ruling is. There will be no retroactive child support in this case. Court costs will be paid by Mr. Mouton, but I will give him until November the 30th of 2023 to pay my court costs. That take care of, any request for non-disclosure in this case is denied. There's got to be some history of family violence, and there's no evidence of that. Ms. Alexander, the state of Texas, hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
Just want to make sure that was 440 for the child support, and that
Yes,
will
ma'am.
begin June 1st, Your Honor.
June 1st. Yeah, I based it on 3,600, I believe. So,
Thank you, Judge.
okay. Mr. Mouton and Ms. Shashir, what's going to happen now is Miss Alexander's office is going to send me a proposed court order. If it matches what I said here today, sign it and get it back to them, and they're going to make a copy of it and send it to each of you. Okay?
Dad possibly could have pushed for a DNA test, but he didn't. And I don't want people in the comments saying, oh, why is the gun picture? Well, you clearly saw mom say, I don't trust him. He carries a gun. That's why I put it in the title. Nevertheless, this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, as we'll be coming to you more videos in the future. And once again,